Pool life, it's the only life we know. Pool life, when you put it in the hole. Pool life, it's the cowboy show. Pool life, when you get that lucky roll.
Hey pool fans, welcome back to another video. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about the 8-ball pool break. I know a few of you from all over the world have been asking about the break for 8-ball. Well, today I'm going to show you a few tips to get you breaking the balls a lot better. So to start off with, we're going to talk about the rack. This is not a racking video. I'm not too clued up with all them little tricks that you see in America where certain gaps do certain things. That's more in 9-ball anyway. But when playing 8-ball in your local bars, in your clubs or at home, it's important to give yourself the best rack possible. Tip number 1, when racking the balls in your bar on league night, you go to put the ball on the spot, lift it off, and the one ball rolls off because there's an indentation in the cloth. Years and years of breaking, well not years, weeks and weeks of breaking, months. Obviously clubs don't change the cloth that often, and it causes a little indentation in the slate. So when you're racking the balls, there you see it's just rolled off. So when you're racking the balls, if that is what has happened to you, it's rolled off, don't just take the triangle off and break, because you're not going to give yourself the best rack. The balls are not going to split. So again, as we're racking, there, I seen it didn't move there. So I know the one ball, the head ball, is touching both of these two. That is tip 1. Try and get the one ball touching these two balls. Let me just do it again. So if it rolls off, let me just get it to roll off. I was trying to find that little dint. There we go. If it rolls off, don't be scared to just move the rack a little bit higher. It's supposed to go on the spot, but just move it a little bit higher. It'll still be on the spot, just on the top side of it, but you will see it's stuck to the two balls below. Tip number 2, I prefer to put the cue ball off centre of the one ball. I prefer to come in at a little angle. If I put it dead in the centre here and break, I feel like I lose the cue ball a lot more. That's personal preference. You guys try it out, but I put it here, but I always put it in the same spot. If you check out the purple 13, I'm in an exact straight line. So I'm always going to put it there, so then I can develop a more consistent break because I'm putting the cue ball in the same place. Tip number 3, the stance. How do you stand? I have 2 different stances. When I'm playing a shot, my right leg is in line with the shot. I fling the left leg out, and that's how I would play the shot. But I don't break like that because I'm going to lose power. So I stand both feet facing the shot. Obviously, I'm not breaking off this rail. I'm just showing you. So I'm here, left foot is pointing towards the rack. So is the right foot. And the reason for this is so I can get some movement. After hitting the cue ball, I can drive through the cue ball. Next is your bridge hand. How do you put your hand on the table? Do you break with an open bridge? Do you break with a loop? I break with a loop bridge. If you break with an open bridge, for now, it doesn't matter, but practice loop bridge. You'll become a better breaker. But it's all about the height. You don't want to be breaking low on the cue ball. You want to try and get your bridge hand a bit higher because you want the cue ball to hit the head ball and pop back. Obviously, I'll show you that in a moment. So I'm breaking off the loop, but you see how I've got some height? So when I hit the cue ball, I'm just above centre. I'm not breaking low and then trying to hit high on the cue ball. That's just not going to work. So there you can see I've got the height. We was just talking about height. So I've moved the camera over there because I want you to focus on the cue ball now. Forget the pack, forget balls going in pockets and where the balls go. This is purely about looking at the cue ball because the cue ball is going to tell you the results. So it's like a little test. So first off, I'm going to use a low bridge. This is the bridge that I would not use. This is the wrong bridge, right? So this is low. Let's watch the cue ball. See how it didn't pop? It just comes straight back. There was no height on the cue ball. Let me show you another one. You might have thought that break was okay. Yeah, it comes straight back, but I'm looking for the pop of the cue ball, and here's why. So I'm going to hit another break, and I'm going to hit this one bad. No height on my bridge hand. Remember we spoke about height, so quite flat, and just watch the cue ball. See how it comes skidding along the table? Yeah, I didn't scratch, but if I just hit it a little bit different on the one, you're going to scratch more in these two pockets. It just hit before, and that's why we're looking for height. Let me show you. Watch the cue ball. See where it went? Didn't quite hit the cue ball where I wanted, because that is where the practice and the relentless breaking, you know, you've got to go in and practice the break. It's a little bit like the golf tee shot, what we were just discussing, but you could see it come past the middle. Now, obviously, I'm not hitting the break as sweet as I would like, but if I did this for about half an hour, I would get in range and start stopping the cue ball in the centre. But if you don't, and you're playing on league night, and you just get one break, you're a little bit edgy. You see where my cue ball went? It arced past the middle. So at least you're taking the middle pockets out of the equation. You're not going to scratch and give ball in hand up. I'm going to hit another one just to see what happens, and then after I've hit the break, I'll discuss, well, what has happened. So you can see my bridge hand's gone higher, both feet facing the pack. That is so I can drive through the cue ball. That will give me more power. And we're just looking for the pop. Let's have a look at the cue ball. There we see. You could see it pop up. Because I'm not quite in tune, I didn't hit as square as I would like, but that is a good thing because this is about teaching you guys. You could see the arc, it arced past the middle. So if I keep doing this for the next 20-30 minutes and I start finding that sweet spot, that is when you're going to start seeing the professionals or myself start parking the cue ball in the middle. One of the most beautiful shots in the game. Didn't tell you where to aim on the cue ball because there's too much going on. When you're doing all these body movements and you're trying to drive your body through the cue ball with a raised bridge, it's going to be very hard for you to hit the cue ball exactly where you want it. This is why we have professionals and, well, we have not professionals, because hours and hours of practice over the years is making them become more consistent. However, you want to be aiming around centre, just above centre. You will know when you hit too low, the cue ball will fly back, and you will know when you hit a little bit too high on the cue ball because it's going to top spin and go right through. So try them few simple steps when you are breaking, playing 8-ball pool. Let me know in the comments how you are getting on, but for God's sake, don't be one of these. I nearly forgot, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you soon.